to reduce the time it takes to start manufacturing semiconductors in India. Addressing the industry leaders, Prime Minister Modi underlined India's growing role in semiconductor ecosystem, highlighting reforms, investments and country's commitment to becoming a full-stack semiconductor nation. Modi said, India may have started late in the chip race, but the nation is now unstoppable. In its mission to become a semiconductor hub, he also drew a parallel between oil and semiconductors, describing chips as the digital diamonds of 21st century.
सेमीकंडक्टर की दुनिया में एक बात कही जाती है, oil was black gold, but chips are digital diamonds. इक्कीसवीं शताब्दी की शक्ति छोटे सी चिप में सिमट करके रह गई है। दुनिया भर में सेमीकंडक्टर से जुड़े एक्सपर्ट्स हैं। 40-50 से ज्यादा देशों का यहां रिप्रेजेंटेशन है और भारत की इनोवेशन और यूथ पावर भी यहां नजर आ रही है। और ये जो कॉम्बिनेशन बना है उसका एक ही मैसेज है, द वर्ल्ड ट्रस्ट इंडिया। द वर्ल्ड बिलीव्स इन इंडिया एंड द वर्ल्ड इज रेडी टू बिल्ड the semiconductor future with India.
At Semicon India, IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw presented the first made in India chip, the Vikram 32-bit processor, to Prime Minister Modi. So what is this Vikram chip? Vikram is India's first fully indigenous 32-bit microprocessor. It has been developed by ISRO Semiconductor Lab with fabrication and packaging done at the Semiconductor Hub in Mohali. But while India is taking great leaps in homegrown semiconductors, it has a long way to go before it catches up with the world leaders. At present, Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, China and United States of America dominate the semiconductor industry. Taiwan rules with more than 60% of global production, with TASMAC being the world's largest semicon foundry. Excellence in chip design has helped the United States emerge as a semiconductor hub. Led by Samsung, South Korea is leading in the memory chip segment, even as mid-tier node manufacturing is booming in China and Japan. And Japan too is emerging as a key supplier of semiconductor material and equipment. Where does India figure in the global pecking order? India is emerging as a significant player in the semiconductor ecosystem, transitioning from a design and a consumption hub to a manufacturing powerhouse. As of 2025, India's semiconductor market is valued at United States $45 to 50 billions, up from 38 billion in 2023, and is projected to reach 110 billion by 2030. Competitors in Taiwan, South Korea and US are already decades ahead. India is playing a long game of catch-up in a fast-moving industry. India may have to overcome many hurdles in its journey to become a semiconductor manufacturing hub. Building a semiconductor fabrication plant is one of the most expensive industrial endeavors on the planet. A state-of-the-art fabrication can cost $10 to $20 billion. In 2022, the center approved a financial outlay of $10 billion for its entire Semicon India program. The entire budget is less than the cost of a single advanced fab. Now let us look at it from a larger perspective. Taiwan's TSMC invests 32 to 36 billion annually in building fabs in US and Japan. Samsung has committed $230 billion investment for next 20 years. Another big challenge is the lack of supply chain and semiconductor ecosystem. The question is, how does one create a single fab? Setting up a single fab means also convincing its entire supply chain to set up shop nearby. Then there are infrastructural issues. Semiconductor fabs require flawless infrastructure. A fabrication cannot tolerate even a second of power fluctuation. Millions of gallons of ultra power water must be purified to an extreme level daily. While India is improving providing the plug-and-play utility-level reliability at a competitive cost still remains a challenge. Under Prime Minister Modi, India is ready to make great semiconductors leap with targeted initiatives. These include India's Semiconductor mission launched in 2021 with a focus on fabrications, ADMP and ecosystem development and overseas approvals, plus incentives and PLI schemes for manufacturing up to 50% project cost support. Since 2021, 10 projects worth US $18 billion have been approved. As a powerhouse economy, India offers a lot of advantages for chip makers, and here is what is going for it. Nearly every major global semiconductor company has a large R&D and design center in India. 1 in 5 of world's semiconductor design engineers are based in India. India is one of the world's largest consumers of semiconductors, driven by its huge population and digital penetration. The Indian semiconductor market is expected to reach 100 to 110 billion by 2030. The massive domestic demand is the primary incentive for companies to make in India for India. Now on this issue, I am joined by Ashok Chandak, President SEMI India and India Electronic Semiconductor Association, and Ajit Manucham, CEO and President SEMI. Thank you both of you for joining me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, Ashok, let me come to you first. Good day. But what is the biggest challenge, sir? Because in terms of catching up with Taiwan and other countries, it's a long race. So what is the big picture where you put India, sir?
India has indeed made a great progress over last couple of years by having the multiple projects, proposals, those have been good quality, which got approval from the central government under the scheme Semicon India program. And they also got the support from the various states. So we already made the first step in the journey of becoming a manufacturing powerhouse. India has been surely already a leading in terms of the design ecosystem, as you already pointed out, that 20% of the world's engineering manpower remains with us actually. Now, the important thing over here in terms of the scale up, execution of this project, 10 projects are already announced and approved. They need to be implemented, executed. They need to really start producing the chips. Those are world class and quality, and build onto the trust which is already there from the global community on India. And in addition to that, being a long-term approach over here, the additional support from government would be required going forward. So there are only two topics here actually which we need to spend efforts. One, make these projects complete on time, execute that with a flawless implementation and get a good quality chips being produced that builds our trust. Being the semiconductor market and semiconductor sector being more global, that means you are interdependent on multiple countries, and that is where India need to prove its talent pool in terms of manufacturing setup. Okay,
let me ask a couple of questions which people, outside this business of semiconductors would like to know. Let me straight away go to Mr. Ajit Manucham, sir. For example, it's a 30-bit processor with a standard 180 nm. Industry standards have gone down to 8 nm. So where do we do the catching up, sir? What should be the timeline for us? And second thing, what about the private players in this chip setup? How do we evaluate their outcomes, sir?
So that's a great question. First of all, I don't think we need to really get hung up on the most advanced nodes like 28, 40 nanometers or 10 nanometers, because the demand of semiconductors is growing across the board. Whether say legacy technologies or mature technologies are the range that we decided to start in Tata from 40 nanometers and so on. Because if you look at this, let's say smartphone, 20% of the chips are advanced nodes, 80% are mature nodes. And the industry, as you probably said in the opening remark, if I was listening, you know that our industry was $600 billion, give and take some, last year, and it's going to be doubling to 1 trillion in next 6 years. What happened in 60 some years will double, more than double in next 6 years. And it's not only the most advanced nodes, it's the across the board. So India has to start somewhere. So it's starting at 40 nanometers, going to 28 and so on. We'll probably need fabs even at 180 nanometer nodes and even above. And of course, in order to go to the advanced nodes for data center chips and so on, that will be 40 nanometers, 10 nanometers and below. Global Semicon, we started last year in September in Greater Noida. This is second Semicon this year. It is more than the double of the size and scale of last year. And it is unprecedented. This Semicon is at a maturity level of the Semicons which have been running in other parts of the world for 50 years. So I think we are on a great start. And the only thing we have to be careful is that we need to continue with the momentum and don't slow down. And let's wait for other players to come into this play. We have two big projects, Micron and Tata, and many assembly and test small projects. So we need to execute, as Ashok was saying. We need to execute flawlessly, first time right and every time right. That will create another momentum and catalyst. But last and not the least, the most important thing is, for future fabs to come and execute and deliver, they need ecosystem. We have just started the game on the ecosystem only recently, I would say 2 years.
Okay.
And that also game takes more than 5 years. So we're on the right track.
Okay. Now let me play out the bite of the Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, who was also there at the event.
की बात है कि भारत में पूरा इकोसिस्टम आ गया है, आ रहा है. ये एक फाउंडेशनल इंडस्ट्री है. जैसे स्टील है तो आप इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कर सकते हो, ब्रिज बना सकते हो, बिल्डिंग्स बना सकते हो. वैसे ही सेमीकंडक्टर है तो आप बहुत सारी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर सकते हो. कार के लिए चाहिए, फ्रिज के लिए चाहिए, स्कूटी के लिए चाहिए, डिफेंस में मोबाइल फोन के लिए चाहिए, लैपटॉप के लिए चाहिए, हर चीज के लिए सेमीकंडक्टर चिप्स चाहिए. तो देश के लिए बहुत बड़ी एक जरूरत है. इसीलिए माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सेमीकंडक्टर इंडस्ट्री पे बहुत फोकस दिया और अब अपने 10 प्लांट में से 4 प्लांट की पायलट लाइन रेडी है और इस साल के एंड तक चारों पायलट लाइंस में प्रोडक्शन चालू हो जाएगा. सीजी सेमी में प्रोडक्शन चालू हो गया. आज पहली मेड इन इंडिया चिप भी माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को भेंट की गई और साथ ही साथ भारत में टैलेंट को डेवलप करने के लिए बड़ा काम चल रहा है. 278 यूनिवर्सिटीज में सेमीकंडक्टर की ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही है.
Okay, so Mr. Chanda, another issue is our dependency on rare earth material, which is with China, machine again China, fabrication in US. So how do we address all these issues in terms of supply chain?
See, recently we have done one report on the supply chain for semiconductor industry, and that was released about in the month of March actually. And what we estimated is there is a $40 billion worth of opportunity which Indian companies can play into the supply chain, which includes chemical, gases, materials, as well as the equipment components. Today, I was along with Honorable Minister, Mr. Ashwini Vaishnaw, on a tour of exhibition. And a couple of companies I want to just highlight here, particularly Lam Research and Applied Materials. Those are making the equipments and machines. They have shown us that they already started sourcing the mechanicals and other topics actually out of India, very high precision related. So India is already getting into this ecosystem of the equipment related components and subsystems. So we are already making progress. Now you asked about the rare earth and materials. I know has been a lot of news about this recently. Particularly one country created some restrictions for exports from their backyard to other countries.
Yes.
And India has already started taking steps. So has some other countries. There is already a special program running now in India to look at the critical minerals and materials. And under Department of Science and Technology, there is efforts are being made that we develop these rare earth materials. The raw materials are available in India. That is not a problem. Most of them are available actually. However, the challenge has been the purity level, because all these gases, chemicals, rare earth materials required for semiconductor industry are at the purity level of 99.9999. You can count 6 nines actually. And that is the work we need to do. The efforts have began already on this. And just to repeat as a summary, several electronic equipment companies have started sourcing their components out of India for the machines related stuff. The materials and other things, the work would start very soon now, as it is announced. And chemical gases, I want to highlight here, India has got a very robust chemicals and gases industry. Though we don't make the semiconductor grade right now, but these companies are geared up. We have been talking to India Chemical Council, for example, and several companies are showing interest to upgrade their plants to reach the desired purity level. So I think we are making progress.
Okay, before I go to Ajit Panucham, there are two questions, sir, which will be for both you panelists. One will be on the wafers. What is the future there? And Mr. Panucham, my question to you would be, after I play the bite of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that there is no tariff right now in context of India and United States. So is this the really good time to invest before any other things add on to the current issue? But let me play the bite of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
साल 2021 में हमने सेमिकॉन इंडिया प्रोग्राम शुरू किया। साल 2023 तक भारत का पहला सेमीकंडक्टर प्लांट अप्रूव हो गया। साल 2024 में हमने कुछ और प्लांट्स अप्रूव किए। साल 2025 में हमने 5 और प्रोजेक्ट्स क्लियर किए। कुल मिलाकर सेमीकंडक्टर के 10 प्रोजेक्ट्स में $18 बिलियन यानी 1.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए से अधिक का इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रहा है। ये भारत पर दुनिया के बढ़ रहे भरोसे को दिखाता है।
So, Mr. Panucham, no tariffs. So, is this the good time to invest in the semiconductor market? And for the betterment of viewers, please tell us why these semiconductors are so important to India's economy in future.
Well, first of all, I would say that tariffs or no tariffs or any other geopolitical issues should not slow us down, because industry is on an inflection point, as I mentioned before. It's going to double in size. So if we just let tariffs come in our way, we'll be left way behind. I think all that geopolitical issues and tariffs, they will get settled sooner or later. That's all negotiations, country to country, government to government negotiations. And I don't think I want to make any more comments on that, because that's very unpredictable. And my recommendation to all governments in the world is, do not retaliate, just keep focusing on the industry, because there's so much to be done, so much to be gained. So we should continue the momentum, and these things will settle by itself within few months or years, not decades. So I will not be slowed down by tariffs or any other geopolitical issues. We have a vision, in this country as a vision, and there's a great set of policies, and there's a great opportunity to keep moving. And the market share is huge. It's up to us how much market share we're going to get from the growth is going to come to this world. So other countries are also stepping up. So let's keep moving. And tariffs is not exclusively for India. Many countries are under the same attack. So we would not slow down on that.
Okay. And the second question, why are semiconductor industry, wafers, chips, fabs so important to Indian economy now?
Okay, so what has happened, I think the world has realized the importance of semiconductor industry. It is foundational to virtually every industry, and it is foundational to the humanity. As you heard, that during COVID, the world became on a grinding halt, and everybody was dependent on the devices to keep the business from remote working or telehealth or teleschooling. So the importance of semiconductor became so clear. Many of the countries have declared semiconductor industry as a strategic. But besides strategic, what has happened is with the AI coming into the picture, and as you've seen, the market cap of many companies has gone into trillions of dollars. But also, if you look at the top 10 industries, the semiconductor industry used to be number 10 in the ranking of the profitability. And it has moved to number 3 on the rank of profitability. So it is also very important for economic prosperity and economic security. So I think that's really the reason and motivation is to keep going. And this will also help a lot in terms of economy. And of course, besides that, I'm more hung up on the word of humanity. We need more semiconductors to be produced around the globe so that we never get into the trap of risk because of the vulnerabilities of climate or geopolitical issues. So we need to keep going.
Okay, and Mr. Chandak, as very rightly pointed out by Mr. Manuchan, that this is going to be the future. The size of the semiconductor industry by 2030, as I pointed out, would be 12 to 15% in context of India's $1 trillion economy, which will be more in trillions of dollars of economy. So what does the private sector now require? What sort of inputs are required by the private sector now?
See, I would call the current estimated demand for semiconductors in India is about $110 billion by 2030. And considering the breadth and the broadness of this industry and the components, everything 100% won't happen in India, surely, because it's a global nature of a business. So we have to look at how do we create interdependency with some countries and strategic alignments so that India continues to manufacture, make and export, and India would also import some of those chips. That will continue actually. So what we need to do is continue our efforts now from design to manufacturing. India has a great design ecosystem, but most of these designs are a captive design centers. That gives us a great talent pool, the knowledge and a competence. India need to leverage now this talent pool to create a product designs out of India, and these product designs would get manufactured in India or let's say outside of India as well, doesn't matter much actually, as the ecosystem develops. So it is complete end-to-end which we need to capitalize now, design to manufacturing. So today we are already looking at the situation which is a vision to reality, because we painted the vision, the Prime Minister showcased our vision that we will become one of the leading player into the semiconductor industry. That vision is getting realized as one chip is launched today. There are 20 chips, those have been made by the startups and the students. There are 10 plants, those have been already announced, those will be operational very soon over next couple of years. So that is getting to the reality. And the next big thing for India is going to be design to manufacturing actually. And this is what we will work on as an industry body, SEMI India and ISA and along with government. This will be our focus area, as how do we create products out of India, get design to manufacturing, because that also creates the economic value which will get retained out of India.
Do we also require special attention on creating that intellectual pond in terms of human resource? For this
yes, we definitely require that. Already beginning has been made. So we had a scheme called the DLI, Design Link Incentive, that has helped few startups. Today one big VC related venture capital fund has been announced, $1 billion deep tech fund, where 5-6 companies have come together and announced this deep tech fund, which will be instrumental to enable our startup ecosystem going forward. Now, workforce development always remains the key topic over here. And India has a good, as I mentioned, the design ecosystem. We will need to pay more attention and efforts towards skilling for manufacturing related jobs and those things. So that efforts has already began. Some of the universities have already started doing the courses. SEMI has also launched their program in India now. We already did 3 such workshops, one at IIT Guwahati, one at IIT Gandhinagar and one at IIT Bhubaneswar, to create this manufacturing related skill sets, and this will be taken up further actually. So manufacturing related skill set development remains obviously a priority as we develop our manufacturing ecosystem.
And I think we also need to protect them from brain drain. Don't you agree, Ajit Manuchan? Because ultimately, the buying capacity is also abroad. Better opportunities. We need to create better avenues, more incentives for the people who have that intellectual wherewithal for this industry.
Well, I think that has been happening. I mean, India is supplying talent to all over the world.
Now it needs to keep it back.
No, but I think there's enough talent in India. We have a lot of green talent. We need to have them trained so they're ready to roll in the new manufacturing plants coming into the country. And some of them will come because most people have a love for the country, for their motherland. some will come, but I don't think I need to worry about the shortage of talent. But I think more important is to train them so that they can produce the best results for the country as they're doing it for the other countries now.
Absolutely.
And we have a pretty good program of making that happen.
You know, as an outsider to this industry, I can only say best of luck, because I feel very excited that, you know, at least we have made a great leap, a great start, and I hope it becomes one of the foundational strategic investments in our economy, in our economic ecosystem, because that's what is being desired, and that's where the future of Indian economy will be and should be. Thank you both of you gentlemen for joining me. This is all I had on Point today. So I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Thank you and good night.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News9, English news as it should be.